Well, we're driving to Montreal. We're headed into the temple again today. You like my new hairstyle? I used to wear it like this when I was a teenager and younger. Maybe older. I don't know. I think I like it. I don't know if it's too young for someone who's 68, but why would it be too young? It's me and it's the way I like wearing my hair. One of the ways. I think it's nice. Anyway, good morning. So, I have had the most wonderful couple of days making soap. I tell you, that was really fun. Thank you so much for prompting me and asking me if I'd made it in a long time, or if I was gonna make it again. It's very cool to have a purpose like that. I want to fill my little bookcase I made with shelves full of different kinds of soaps. And then I want to give them away to people, to friends. And I want to maybe have a friend can sell some in the market. I just think it's the coolest thing ever to be able to do this. I'm glad that I remember so much, and so much of it comes easy. I don't have to learn from scratch. Isn't that cool? And Anna likes the smells in the house. My daughter-in-law, Daniel's wife. Yeah, so life is going very well. I got better. I was quite sick with my cough before. But I did have a bit of it come back yesterday, and I wondered if it had to do with the fragrant oil. I used essential oils for the first one, but fragrant oil for the second one, which was rose. I'm not really thrilled with rose, so I just put in a small amount. I didn't want it to be an overpowering smell. But I have other fragrances I'm going to try. There's gardenia and lily of the valley and lilac and orchid and bergamot. No, maybe I don't have any bergamot. I didn't see it when I was going through them all. Hawaiian lei, lei. Anyway, I have all these fragrant oils that I bought when I was stopping doing soap because it never turned out anymore. I think that the temperatures I was using were too hot and it was not working properly. But it seems to have worked yesterday and the day before. So I made this little bookcase, and I want to have the shelves about this far apart, just enough so I'm just putting little blocks on the side of the uprights and then laying a shelf in there. I'm not securing them so that they have to be permanent. I want to be able to, you see, I remember having a bookcase like this before, filled with all these soaps, and having to remove them from the shelves, one at a time, and put them in a box or whatever so that I could take them to the market to sell. Well, this time I would like to just I just like to pick up the shelf and move it like that. I've also got parchment paper on the shelf under the soap so that the shelves don't have all the soap on them. It makes me feel so good to be productive like that and not to be making cookies. That's what I used to be productive at, was making cookies. But that's a bad thing. I have now lost 14 pounds. And for the first time in years, I was able to go up and down the stairs with both legs one on my left leg, then my right leg, then my left leg, then my right. I've been favoring my left leg for years, since before I had hip replacement surgery. But yesterday I was able to do it. So something is good. I gave up wheat and grains and just eating what Anna makes, and plus fruit. She makes a vegetable soup and meat, fragranced meat, or spicy or whatever. She makes curries with coconut milk, and she makes coconut milk and is not coconut water. These names they've got for the products from coconut are kind of odd. Like, they've got coconut water, which is the juice inside the coconut when you open a coconut. It's the water that's inside it. That's coconut water. And then coconut milk is when you take the coconut and you grate it, and you I suppose they pressure squeeze it or something, but it's the white milky stuff that comes from that. When I lived in a grass hut in Jamaica when I was 17, one of my good memories, they would make Ital, which had a base of coconut milk. And the way they obtained it was by grating the coconut into the water and boiling it, and then straining out the coconut and squeezing it. And they would use that grated coconut. They wouldn't eat it. I was told it would make you fat. But they would squeeze it and put it in a calabash on a little tripod in the yard, and you would take a handful of it and use it to wash your hands. Just rub it back and forth on your hands, and your hands became really, I don't know if it was tough, but it was the coconut oil. It's good on your hands. And for shampoo, we opened a cactus. It might have been a prickly pear cactus. It was that shape and flat, and you slice it in half lengthwise through through the whole thing, and then you take the inside and you scratch it, and then use that for washing your hair. And then for toilet paper, there was a vine that grew near those were things to learn. A real natural, primitive living. It's very good to be able to know how to do things like that. We have mullein here, which is a very furry leaf, very big leaf. Those are good for toilet paper. But you have to be careful what you pick. You don't want stinging nettles. Of course, you'd certainly sting your hand before you get any farther than that. But usually where stinging nettles grow, right alongside it is jewelweed, Jewel weed. And it has orange flowers that hang down. And that's a succulent plant that gets quite tall if it's got the right conditions. And you take that and scrunch it up, and the juice of that, rub it on where you got stung with the nettles, and it'll take the sting away. Does that work for bee stings too, and mosquito bites? Do you know, Willem?
I have no idea.
He's no idea. He's very busy driving. You have to watch these road signs, So it's 9:15. We're heading to the temple. We have a session at 10. And we left. We didn't get up till 6. And usually we leave at 5:30. And so hopefully we'll make it in time. He knows the way. He doesn't need my GPS teaching him, or the maps on. Daniel has been fishing in the pond, in the moat. No, yes, he's been fishing in there and feeding the fish to his cats. His cat. She's a nursing mom. So, he ordered some fish food online. And he's been going down there every evening and scattering small handfuls of fish on the water of the moat. And when you come back around, oh, I better not look at what we're driving. It's sort of scary out there. When I got down there, and he had already fed them, and he said they were eating it, and I wanted to see. You want to see? So we went around, and he showed me all the places where he had sprinkled the food, which was most of the way around the moat. Boy, that's a busy lane over there, isn't it? We're going to Longueuil, to the Montreal Temple. They speak French there, which is a little bit difficult for them and for me, because I don't speak French. I know a bunch of French, but I don't use it. I suppose written stuff I can read a bit, because every label is in French and English, and all the directions are in French and English, and all the ingredients are in French and English in Canada. So we're bilingual, or we're, what's it called? Two-language country. What is that word? Not Duolingo. Whatever. Bilingual. No, that's when you can speak both. I don't know. There was a lot of traffic on the way through Ottawa. I brought along my mask. I have this great mask I got on an airplane in first class once. And I love it. I wore it last night when I slept, and I slept past sunrise. That was so cool, because the sun rises so early, like 5 something. So it's early out. So when I wake up in the night and it's already breaking dawn, or breaking light, I guess you say, and I can't get back to sleep. But when I wore this last night, and I was able to go to sleep right away and sleep late. Darkness triggers melatonin. Of course, I did take some melatonin too. I've been taking melatonin to keep myself sleeping. Whatever time I took my Alexa in the morning would make me wake up at that time every day. And it would also make tired at the right time every day. Look at that. That's an interesting structure up there. Let's see if I can show you. Look at the top of this. It's got these circles on it. Almost looks like fans. I don't know what they are. There's another one on this structure. Do you know what that is? Tell me in the comments, okay? So the Expo 67 was in Montreal, and this is the remnants of it. The structures are still here. They had that dome thing. Kind of hard to see. It's a bit in the distance. There, now you can see it. I remember being in it. I was in grade 7 back then. Look at this one. Looks like a stadium. Forget what that was called. Anyway, it's neat, eh? I'm glad they built this road 30. Comes down around the south of Montreal. side, which is so much better than taking 40, which is the highway that goes from the 417 to 17, I guess, and it's the 40 when you cross the border. Is that right?
Yeah. We took that, but then we went from 40 to 30.
Yeah, so we got off of 40. 40 becomes 20, and 20 is highway right in the middle of the city. It's awful. And it's very crowded, and the signs have a yellow rectangle that's pointed on one side, and it always points to which way the exit is, which nobody tells you. You have to figure that out by taking a lot of wrong turns and missing a lot of roads. Oh my goodness, that was horrible. And there's also a power grid that goes right in between the northbound and the southbound, or whichever direction they are. Here's another, I don't know. Anyway, so this power grid is right between the lanes. And I wonder, if you're commuting twice a day on that road, I wonder how that power grid affects you. I don't know. There is some research on it. Often people that live near power lines get cancer. See, here's this one. See the yellow? Did you see how the sign works? Anyway, but this Highway 30 comes around the bottom and up the side. Then you get on 132 or something. It's interesting, there's signs to New York. And we're in Canada, and so whenever you see a sign to New York, it's like, it's my other life of going, I lived in New York City. Well, I lived in New Jersey, but could see New York City and lived by the Golden Gate Bridge in Teaneck, New Jersey. It was a long time ago. I went back there one day. There's a video about it. And the house was right next to the school. And the apartment that we lived in before, we lived in a house when we were much more little. I think we moved to the house when I was 5. We moved after I started kindergarten, I think, or maybe in grade 1. We moved to that new house right next door to the school. It was so cool. You could just walk next door and you're at school. That was really neat that my parents did that. That was a very cool idea. Ooh, look at this. It's 9:21 and we're right near the temple. Wow, Willem, you did good.
Thank you.
You did real good. We're going to make time. We've got 10 o'clock endowment and 12:30 ceilings, I think. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to do a lot of endowments, but you can only do 2 a day in this temple. It used to be that they had afternoon sessions in the temples.
Well, they have an evening session, but that's just...
Well, yeah, but then you have to stay until 7:30. But it used to be like at Washington Temple and many other busy temples, you can go, things start every half hour all day long. But not here. This is a very small temple and there's just 2 sessions and there's nothing else. But we're almost there. We have this funny area right near the temple where you have to go through, you turn and go back around this little industrial park and take a few roads, and then you come out on the highway that you want. Here, I'll show you. So this is, I don't know what name of the road is. Oh, I better not make you sick.
This runs into...
We're on the 20 now. 20 and 132.
20 joins 15 that we took. And now I think it's just called 20.
Oh, I see. So 15 became 20.
It's 15. I would 20 zigzags across the bridge, and then it joins 15.
This is Marie Victorin.
That's right. Yeah. This is called St. Charles over here, but then it becomes Marie Victorin. Here we go.
They just paved our road, which is so nice.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Yeah, and Daniel was saying this is like this road here. He would say this is like a Vietnamese road, full of potholes and patches. Well, this doesn't. It's got patches. But also there's these drains, and they don't seem to. Sometimes they don't know how to make the pavement come to the drain without a big dip. Yeah, it's not very level. But of course, the winter has a lot of influence on that.
Yep.
And if you get a little, you know how a pothole starts? I heard this on a weather channel once. The pothole comes from the, oh, look at this. This is interesting. What is this made out of?
So in Ottawa, you have all the deep potholes sometimes at the end of winter, and then it rains, and everything is covered with water, and you're never sure how deep that pothole is.
Oh, yeah.
And people have wrecked their alignment and everything.
Right.
They just assuming it was just a.
Well, a pothole starts when you get a crack. See all the little cracks in the road? And when you get a crack...
It is La Pointe? I think it is. Is it? No, it's not. It is an industrial thing.
When you get a crack in the road and water gets in, winter comes and it freezes. And that water expands and becomes a bubble of water, of ice. A ball of ice. And then in the spring, that ice goes away and it made itself a big bubble. And so now, here's the temple. And so now there's nothing under it. And when you, well, that's the chapel. And there's the temple. The Montreal Temple, House of the Lord. And that's Moroni with the everlasting gospel to proclaim to all the earth. House of the Lord, holiness to the Lord is what's written on it.
Well, here.
Sure enough. Sante à l'Éternel, la maison du Seigneur. Holiness to the Lord, the house of the Lord. Okay then. See you later. Bye.